Hello, welcome back to Chaotic Creatives, the show about embracing the chaos that comes from living a creative life.
We are your hosts, two self-proclaimed chaotic creative gals. I am Lauren Hom, better known as Hom Sweet Hom. I am a designer, lettering artist, muralist, and chef.
And I'm Rachael Renee. I'm an artist, author, creativity coach, and internet hype gal.
Woo!
Yay.
Today we've got a juicy topic.
Juicy. We saved some juicy ones for that.
We have some good ones.
We got some good ones, yeah.
End the season.
I'm going to let you kick it off because we both have our own versions of this experience, but I feel like yours is slightly more personal. So I'll let you start with the heavy hitter.
Yeah. So today we wanted to talk about how pursuing like your creative spark and the things you're curious about and indulging that, one of the unexpected and hyped parts of that is by doing that, it actually shines a light on the parts of your life that maybe aren't so aligned anymore. By staying in creative alignment, you realize that like, oh, this is so much fun. I feel so like alive here. Maybe there are other parts of your life that don't feel as good. And I've been using the analogy of if you are a designer and you have a portfolio, you'll know this, but typically there are some older projects that are hanging out at the bottom of your website that maybe they're from like school, like student projects or just earlier in your career that maybe you've outgrown, but you're still holding onto them for sentimental reasons, or they feel safe, like a kind of like comfort blanket. And it's only until you add new, fresh work that those projects end up getting like retired from the portfolio, because in the presence of like newer, like more aligned work, you realize that like they're not quite up to snuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reflecting on this because I recently got invited to do a talk, and the organizer was like, if there's any new topics you've been wanting to like workshop or any stories you haven't told that you've been wanting to, like, this is the space to do it. And so I'm trying to like step into that invitation.
Yeah.
And the story that I've been wanting to tell is how me going to culinary school, it was like a long-term, like lifelong dream, but it actually was the catalyst for me to end a like long-term relationship that I had known like deep down in my heart probably needed to end, but I had made so many like rational like decision, like I had been trying to rationalize in my brain, like here are all the reasons to stay. It makes practical sense. I want to work on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of us do that in our lives, especially like a lot of women I talk to in their mid-30s have been through something like this. And it takes a while to finally like come to terms with like, no, I'm going to make a decision for me. I'm going to listen to my gut.
Mm-hmm.
And so while culinary school was like awesome, pursuing like a creative dream, it actually like changed my life more profoundly in like giving me the space and the confidence to make that decision for myself to leave that relationship.
Yeah, I think like the experience as you were sharing that story with me whenever we talked about it first, the thing that I related it to was my version of that was, you know, I've been working on my creative work on the side as I've had a day job for, I mean, my whole career after college since I graduated like over a decade ago. And I kind of always did the logical thinking of like, I can't do this thing until I have enough money saved, have, you know, this much in retirement, like have a partner who I can rely on for, you know, emotional and financial support if needed. Like there were plenty of things that I was doing to make excuses for myself. And like, I think that's okay. Like we all have to come to terms with like what our comfort level is with these big decisions. And sometimes, you know, we need to waffle on something for a long time to know that it's right. But I think the experience, besides my dad passing away, which sped up a lot of the process, but the experience for me that made me realize like how unfulfilled I was at my job. Like I knew it deep down. But it was fine and I was good at it. So I was like, just keep powering through. Like, it's fine. Lots of people do this. But I have been building my, creative coaching and like offerings work. I had been doing more of my own personal practice work. And then I got the book deal,
Mm-hmm.
and the process of getting the book deal it wasn't effortless. It took work, but it was so resistance free
Yeah.
and felt so good. And writing it felt so good. Like I would sit down and be like, I cannot believe I am getting paid for this. Like this fucking rules. And having that feeling contrasted with then having to like clock in at my day job,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my God, I am done with this. I'm
Mm-hmm.
so done. And it's like, I think a lot of us get in these habits of doing things, and the things that we think we should do or the things that we have been doing and are comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
But we might have this like urge or yearning or like just knowing that like deep in our hearts that like there's something more. But until we experience that space or clarity, or like you used the analogy of like that lightness kind of shined into like the darker part, and not even darker in like horrific, but just darker, like heavier.
Heavier. Yeah. I think what you were saying of like, you yearn for something more, you like know there's something more, you feel a pull towards something more until like that materializes a little bit and you actually like get a little taste of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to like make that decision and realize like, oh, there's something better out there for me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think we kind of like know it in theory, but it's hard to actually take the leap and make the choice to like pursue that.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of myself in the story that you were just telling too, of when I left my full-time job,
Mm-hmm.
even though I was not there for as long as you were, like I was able to do that because I was working on my passion project,
Mm-hmm.
which it's not like I had a strategy where I was like, I'm going to work on this passion project in college, so I'll have a plan B for if I don't like my job. No 21-year-old has that foresight.
No.
Like, I don't think anyone does.
Yeah.
And it just happened to be like, oh, this is where it's effort, like you said, but it doesn't feel like work. It's work I was happy to do. It feels like play.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned into the thing that allowed me to leave like the thing that was dragging me down, which ended up being my full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to have some of the practical brain.
Of course.
Like, rational brain is there to keep us safe.
Mm-hmm.
But so we're not negating any of that thinking.
No.
But the older I've gotten, I shared this in the last season, the older I've gotten, the more I have settled into my ways, the more like comfortable I've gotten, the more I've almost like the smarter I've gotten. And in a way, like it's like I've become like my own parent in my head, kind of like being a little more risk averse and telling myself like, oh, like you should move a little more cautiously. Like I wouldn't do that if I were you. And it's interesting, even as someone who thinks like, oh, I've done things my own way. Like I'm like going against social norms a lot of times. A lot of that stuff we're all raised in the same soup. Like when I was like in my long-term relationship, a lot of people who get into relationships in their mid-20s and are in one for 6, 7, 8 years, you wake up in your early 30s and you go like, oh, wow, I spent like, is this my forever person?
Mm-hmm.
Based on societal scripts.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like sunk cost fallacy that comes in where it's like, okay, I spent like, this is so much social conditioning, but like I spent my hottest years with this person. Like we put in all this work, which is like, those don't have to be your hottest years.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But like I found myself trying to silence the pull within me that said like something's not right, something's not right. There was nothing necessarily like he wasn't a bad person. There was nothing catastrophically wrong. I just knew it wasn't the right fit for me.
Mm-hmm.
But on paper, my family liked him. Like he checked a lot of boxes. Like we got along great, ran a great household together. We were good teammates, but I was wanting something more.
Yeah.
And maybe that would have been a good partnership for someone else, but I silenced the feeling in me early on that like, oh, like be grateful for what you have. Like you found a good partner. And I would stay up late, just kind of like angsty, being like, is this it?
Mm-hmm.
And that isn't a good feeling for anybody.
Yeah.
Like I only remember this when we were brainstorming for this episode, but when you and I first became friends, like pretty shortly after, within like the first 2 years, I remember texting you being like, hey, I think I'm going to break up with Tom. Can I stay at your house? And you were like, hell yeah, I left a key in the back. Like, I'm out of town, but like, keys under a rock. Like, you can stay at my house. And I proceeded to not do it. I talked myself out of it and stayed in that relationship for 5 more years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sharing this because I think that that's a pretty common experience for a lot of people.
Yeah. And I think it's like, it's also okay that you stayed for 5 more years because you both tried to work on it. And I think like you and I are you always say cut from the same cloth in that we like, we want to see the best in people. We give people a lot of grace.
And we're hard workers.
And we're hard workers. We are willing to put in the work to make something happen. And also I've shared in the previous episodes, like I kind of like, once I commit to something, like I really want to try. Like if you say you're in it, let's be in it. You know?
I just realized like the overachiever like tendency to think that you can outwork something that actually just is misaligned.
Mm-hmm.
Like is like, it's almost like
if I try harder, if I fix this thing.
Yeah, like I can outwork my gut feeling is actually a pretty wild thing. But I've done it so many times.
Totally. And I mean, like our society teaches us to be rational head thinkers and not like heart or gut thinkers. And it's like, it's one of the things that my therapist has me do sometimes when I'm like sort of like spiraling about a thing and being like, what can I do? Like, what should I learn? Like, because I'm always like, how can I improve?
Yeah.
And then she'll be like, okay, close your eyes, take a deep breath, ask your body like what it needs right now. And a lot of times it's like rest or like I have a pit in my stomach and it's like I'm ignoring the body feelings that are that like deep knowing.
Yeah.
And I think like by what my messaging about prioritizing play is like my own version of that where I'm like, okay, well, I can't quit my job yet. That's crazy. Yeah. So I'll see if I can follow this, like this instinct of wanting more creativity or wanting to try things by prioritizing my play.
Yeah, get out of your head and get into like your body.
Yeah. And like when I get in the flow state making something, like yesterday, Lauren and I were working on some projects together after we recorded and I was just like, this is so much fun. Like when you're in that zone and I think that play is the only way that you can find what that zone is. And then once it's like little hits of that light that you were talking about where it's like, you get a little snippet of like, this is what you're meant to be doing, like where your natural interests and talents lie. And it doesn't have to be for work, but is it giving you information about like how you're living your life? Like, are you most fulfilled? Me in that job, you in that relationship? Like, no, there's more out there and we know it deep down, but we have to like try things in order to give ourselves permission to kind of like work up to doing that thing. Like you said, it took you 5 years. It probably took me, that much time to like decide to work for myself, even though I've known that I've wanted to do it for so long. It just felt so unachievable. And I mean, there's other examples. I know in our next episode, we're going to talk about a big example of this. So I'm going to save the juicy topic for that. But it's interesting how like things keep like coming up and it's like, to get a little woo, like the universe gives you the challenges until you learn the lesson, and it's like, yeah, we have to experience things in just the right way at the right time that we're ready to like absorb that information. And you getting the space and the clarity and like this change of pace with culinary school allowed you to be like, oh, wow, this is really bright and shiny and exciting and aligned. And the thing that needs to fall away in order to pursue this alignment is this relationship. Prioritize Play, the book, my book, is available for pre-order, and I'm so excited to share it with you. It officially comes out June 9th, but you can pre-order it now. You can pre-order the ebook, the physical book, or even the audiobook, which I will be reading. Exciting. And I'm just really excited to get this in your hands. It's everything that has been my story of prioritizing play and how I got to become this artist and creativity coach that you know today. It has creative challenges, it has play challenges, 5-minute challenges, it has reflection prompts and exercises to do to help you prioritize your play and figure out how to live your big, juicy life. foster deeper connection, build confidence, find your creativity, and express it. So pre-order it today. I'm so excited to share this with you.
Like for me, I've always been pretty tapped into like my creativity. Creativity has always been like a compass for me, where I've generally been pretty good at allowing myself to pursue whatever it is I want to pursue. But it's because I chose a creative profession, I think. And for someone who maybe didn't, I think that there's so many areas of life where there are so many like rules and like shoulds that we've absorbed. Your creative work should be the last place that you apply those like very like strict and rigid rules to yourself. Like we've talked about this earlier in the season, like it's oftentimes ourselves that tell us like, no, you can't do that with your art, but it's your art.
Yeah.
Like you're the one who gets to steer the ship.
Yes.
And so it's really, we think that it's a really, it's like almost like an act of like self-love, self-confidence to let yourself make what you want to make. And it's easier said than done. And like I said, the older I've gotten, the harder it is to allow myself to make whatever I want to make, because I just have a little bit more like brain garbage than when I was younger. But we mentioned this, I think, in season 3 about increasing your tolerance for uncertainty.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think the example that we brought up was a tiny way you can learn to increase your tolerance for uncertainty, which you bring back to your creative work with taking risks, is the next time you're out at a restaurant, right? Order a dish that you like have never ordered before, instead of going to your like normal 2 or 3 rotations that you're like sure that you're gonna like. It's not the end of the world if you don't love it. Like you might try something that you like. You'll have at least a new experience or a story, and you will survive.
Yeah, and like a slightly different version of that. So that's increasing your tolerance for discomfort, uncertainty.
And by following your like creative spark, you are increasing your tolerance. Actually, I don't know where I was going with this.
Okay, I was gonna say that like another kind of example. I think this is what I shared in the last season is like building that trust in your instinct and your gut. So like instead of waffling over like, oh yeah, there's so many options on this menu, what should I get? Just make a decision.
Yeah.
Trust your gut and make the decision. And then if it's bad, then you're increasing your capacity for discomfort. But like once you start to train yourself to like trust that gut reaction instead of talking yourself out of it, then it's a muscle that you keep building.
Yeah. It's like you're training yourself to like not even entertain that conversation when like the little guy in your head goes, ah?
Yeah, I have another like slightly bigger example of that is when I was living up north. I was staying at my grandma's house. She wasn't there. And I wanted to paint the bedroom because I didn't know how long I was going to be there. We thought that my dad was going to live a lot longer than he did, unfortunately. And so I was like, okay, I care obviously so much about my aesthetics, my space that I live in. I want to make this bedroom feel more like me. So I got some yellow paint. I remember going to the like small hardware store. I didn't go, they're not the big box stores, so the paint selection wasn't very big. Yep. And I was like, I want this yellow paint. And the guy was like, you just want to go for it? You don't want to sample? And I was like, no, I'm going to go for it. Yeah. And I spent $100 on paint because it was a small local hardware store, so it wasn't cheap. And I painted that room and I was like, I don't like this. It was very like cheese yellow, like very like brighter than I wanted, more of like an ochre, like a more neutral yellow, which is crazy for me, but like that felt right for that space. And I painted the room and I was like, I don't like this. And then I got some pink paint and did it again. And like that experience of just like trusting my gut and then also trusting it again when I was like, this isn't right. Instead of like forcing myself to be like uncomfy in this room every time I slept in there or like trying to make it work. That is part of the creative process for me. Like I like to just try things and visualize it and then like pivot if I need to. And I've always thought that was like a flaw and like almost like a fickleness in me, but it's literally part of my process.
It's
like,
part of your process, yeah.
How many times have you helped me paint my bedroom? It's like I have to try it and feel how it feels in order to know if it's right.
And that's worth spending the extra $50 to $100 of like on paint to just get it done quickly. We talked about this yesterday when we were crafting. The like swiftness with which you can get an idea just like out in the world and like you can see it is helpful to you, where a lot of people are more like they stew, they noodle, and there's just a longer incubation period before it like is in the world. That's fine too. It really depends on, like, we've talked about this before, but figuring out what like consequences you're willing to bear and dealing with it. Like, you're either out time or money, and that's fine.
Yeah. And I was out both, and it felt fine to be out time and money, because like I would have been out time and money doing something else.
Exactly. Yeah.
And like time of waffling and not making a decision, or the money of like some other craft I decided to do instead of doing that.
Yeah.
And I think like knowing myself and trusting my gut and being like, let's try this. And that is increasing my capacity for discomfort, and like also making me realize that like it's not the end of the world. Like these consequences aren't as big as we blow them up to be.
Survive.
Yeah. And then I painted it pink and I loved it, and it felt so much better. And I felt it in my body that was the better choice. And I mean, it's something inconsequential as like a bedroom paint color. Paint is so easy to swap. But I was talking about this with a friend who was reading this book about Louis Barragan, the Mexico City based architect. Was he based in Mexico City, or did you just do a lot of projects there?
I don't know.
I don't know. You
I'm not about to spread misinformation.
Yeah, you can look it up. But Lauren and your friend Z just went to a couple of those houses, and like I really love his style. I don't know a lot about him, but my friend was reading this book and was explaining that like as an architect, you know, you assume that someone like that you're hiring as an architect to build something is just going to like know exactly what to do. And I guess he was like quite famous for like having them build a wall here and then going in and feeling it and be like, take that wall down. And it gave me so much like confidence that like, this is just my process. I have to try things and make mistakes in order to learn. And that is me building up my trust in myself and my vision. Like, that's how your artistic expression and your style comes out, is like trying things and figuring out what you like or you don't. But it's also how you figure out what you like and you don't with your life.
Yeah, 100%. And the same way that you build up your like tolerance or capacity for uncertainty or discomfort, and you learn what your process is, when you like listen to like even the tiny little creative, like I want to do this, or like I want to paint my bedroom this color, and you indulge that versus being like, no, it's not practical. And like you start to rationalize.
Yeah.
When you like say yes to those things, even when especially when there's small inconsequential things at first, you start to learn how to like build up your capacity to trust yourself and trust your gut. And I think it leads you to making more like aligned decisions in all areas of your life. I agree.
Yeah, because like you get that little bit of confidence and you're like, oh, I actually do know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I think like the bedroom projects are such a good example of this, because like literally I'm the only one sleeping in both the bedroom at my grandma's house and the one here at my house. And it's so funny because, of course, like I share these projects on the internet.
I'm glad you bring this up because this is a perfect example.
Yeah. And when I shared the bedroom project on the internet at my grandma's house, it's so funny. Like it was such a perfect like snapshot of today's world on the internet. Like it was a 1-minute-long video because I was explaining the process. I peeled away some paneling and found this 70s wallpaper that was there. Like, it was really cool, but I was in the process of painting this bedroom, and this cheese yellow color, like, wasn't hitting how I wanted it to. And then my mom remembered this wallpaper underneath the paneling, and we pulled it off, and now the yellow, like, for sure doesn't match. And that reel went viral, like, has 1 million views, and which is viral for me. And
that's viral.
Yeah, I think so. And so many people were commenting, like, keep the yellow, it looks so good with the wallpaper. And, like, it was not the right shade of yellow, and like I didn't like it. And
shut the fuck up.
And I was just like, you're entitled to your opinion, but also like I'm the only one that has to be happy with this. We are the only ones who have to be happy with how we're living our lives, whether that's like something as simple as the paint color, or like how we are showing up in relationship, or what we're doing for our jobs. Like if you're happy, great, that's what we're going for, but you have to be the one that's happy. So it was really interesting because something inconsequential like a paint color was getting people really passionate about sharing their opinions. And I had said, like, I think I'm going to go like a green or a pink instead. And so many people were like, don't do it. Like, that color's so good. And I painted over it and I made another reel and I loved the pink. And then someone commented and was like, why would you paint the yellow? We preferred that. And I'm like, good thing I'm just, living my life for me. And I'm the only one who has to sleep here and live here and be happy with this. And I've had the same experience anytime I've shared like home projects. People have a lot more opinions, which is really interesting. But I'm so confident in like what I want it to look like that I think I get frazzled because I'm like, this isn't your house, it's my house. I can do whatever I want.
We should put a pin in this for next season. Mm-hmm. This will be a good topic to talk about, like sharing like the interiors like of our homes. It's such a personal space brought into the public. Like I spend a lot of time thinking about this. As someone like, and this is like relatively new that like regular people are self-publishing the inside of their homes. And I really do think it's changed the way that like we decorate our spaces. Because it used to be like celebrity homes were the only ones you got like a peek inside. It's super voyeuristic to like see inside someone's house. Like it used to be like you had to be like a peeping Tom. Otherwise, we don't like those.
It's just really interesting how like people have opinions and maybe because they see us as peers, people just living in regular homes. But I the most unsolicited advice I get is when I'm sharing a project in my house.
I wonder why. Maybe because people feel so passionately about home ownership too.
Maybe.
And homes. And like how people aren't allowed to like change their homes if they rent. Like there's like a weird, it is weird that people feel so passionately about how someone else would decorate their home that like this person on the other side of the screen would never interact with.
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny. Like, and maybe it's like a helpful thing. Like this feels a very approachable way to like participate or something, because a lot of times, like I'll even say like, do not give me advice. I'm not looking for advice. I'm sharing this because I'm sharing that it's okay to try things and make mistakes and suffer the consequences and have to buy new paint. Like that's the messaging I'm sharing. But like, it's unsolicited advice. And then it just makes me mad and not want to share when people are like, what if you did this? Like, what if you, painted it in this way or painted a mural or did this? And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Or like I had the air conditioner in my bedroom. Yeah. It was like this built into the wall air conditioner and it stopped working. And I didn't have the skill to like take it out and close it and patch the siding and everything. So I literally hung a rug on the wall over it. And there were a bunch of people that were like, what if you put a window there? And it's like a weird spot for a window. And it would bug me just as much as the air conditioner. Like,
it'd be so expensive.
Lots of things like that. And I'm like, I've thought about these things. Like I own this home and I have weighed the pros and cons and where my skill set is and what budget I have for this. And like the budget I have is to hang a rug over it until I can afford to pay someone to take it out and patch the wall. And so it's just really interesting. And I think because it's so personal, I get so uptight about like the comments and stuff. And like my bedroom has gone through many iterations. I've painted it a lot of different ways and I still haven't quite found like the one that feels right and like me. And like, you just helped me paint my bedroom again. And, and I appreciate that. And I think, I'm getting closer, but that's what creative practice is like you iterate until you figure it out.
Hi, you know how we're always yapping on this podcast about trying new things in your creative business? This episode is brought to you by one of my creative experiments, my Mural Mockups. You get 10 high-resolution Photoshop mockups with easy-to-edit smart objects, which in non-creative dork speak means that you can drag your drawing into the mockup and it'll instantly make your art look like a mural on a real wall. Pretty cool, right? Fun fact, Kristle, who you all know and love as the editor of this podcast, shot all of the photos for these mockups. So I love that. These mockups are perfect for muralists and aspiring muralists who want to shorten the time it takes them to add mural images to their portfolios and present their work to clients. You can head to homsweethom.com/mural-mockups or the link in the episode description to check them out. Okay, now back to the show.
I think you'll always be iterating on your bedroom because, and not in a way where it's like in a bad way, but because we have to accept that we're always changing, some of us more than others. I think some of us have more of a proclivity to change than others, but because you're always changing, you will likely always be like searching for that like perfect color, and you might have it for a while and you might outgrow it.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And knowing that that's part of your, like, that's just who you are. It's part of your process. You like variety. You like going on a lot of adventures.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I like DIY projects. I like rearranging my bedroom. I like rearranging this room. I mean, before we even
It
started
is funny
recording,
because you hate painting.
I do hate painting.
Painting walls.
Painting
you hate
walls.
house painting. I love house painting.
I think like lately I haven't been hating it as much. It's almost like the hurdle of starting.
Ooh.
So I'm wondering if it's like,
and it's good to know what your hurdles are.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we can cut this if you don't want it, but after we're done recording, you asked me, you were like, the most helpful thing you can do is sit with me while I fold my laundry because that's what I need to do. And your hurdle is just, you need the accountability of a person there with you.
Yeah.
And it's really helpful to learn your own hurdles and learn where like your like speed bumps are and your roadblocks are.
Yep.
And so you can like deal with it.
Yeah. To like be able to navigate around them or like in tandem with those hurdles instead of like being like, oh my God, I'm a piece of shit because I didn't put my laundry away yet.
No,
I
wants
have
to
to
put their
find
laundry away.
Yeah. And I have to find, I know this about myself and I have to find ways to either gamify or have some accountability. So like we were talking about like nothing's going to make me clean my house faster than having a date come over for the first time, you know? So like there's that. But like I ask my friends a lot to do like parallel play or like, hey, can you like come do your drawings? Like my friend's a tattooer and she needed to get some drawings done for her appointments the week. And I was like, can you come sit on the couch in my bedroom so I can just like do this like chore while you draw and we chat while we do it? Cause it's mindless. And yeah, I think like that, or I gamify a lot of things. Like I set timers for myself and I'm like, okay, I have 20 minutes. How much can I get done on this list of stuff to do? And I have to like make it a game for myself and create that deadline, create the urgency. Because like I went to grab socks today and I'm like, okay, I guess I have to dig into this clean laundry basket. And I don't like that. I like things to be tidy and put away. But when I get in an overwhelmed or low energy state, it's harder to do. Yeah. So the hurdle is like, hey, can you just like keep me company while I do this? Sometimes it's like talking on the phone with someone while I'm putting laundry away, and that's helpful. So yeah, learning your systems, learning your process, whether that's creative process where you try stuff, you paint, you make mistakes, you do it again. Or if you're the type of person that like noodles on something and like gets it really fine-tuned before you make it, like obviously, you know, if you're cutting into a really expensive piece of wood, make sure you know what you're doing so you're not, you know, ruining that piece of wood. But the way that I approach and the type of art that I make, I mean, like ceramics, you fuck it up, you put it in the reclaim pile.
You got to find the right match. Like a low risk, like low stakes kind of medium is great for that kind of approach.
Yeah. Yeah. This episode really took a turn. I really got fired up about my interior design.
We should definitely do an episode on it next season.
Yeah.
I think a lot about this, and I just started reading a book that talks a lot about this called Filter World. Kristle's probably heard a little bit about it too. But it's just about how like the internet and like the sharing of spaces. They talk a lot about like coffee shops, for example. Why do all coffee shops look the same now? It's because now we just like have access to seeing more spaces and they disseminate, and like it just how like we all influence each other's spaces now.
Yeah.
Like I bet the inside of people's homes around the world are looking more similar than they ever did.
Yeah, which is like good and bad, like everything, right? It's like we can have access to like new inspiration because of the internet. But then also, yeah.
I mean, this I can help us land the plane since I know we're near time. But this reminds me of something I wanted to touch on, like related to the topic we started with. Yeah. Yay, chaotic creatives.
Sorry, I went
no
down
need
a
to
tangent.
apologize. This is a feature, not a bug.
You're right.
That's why we baked it in here.
Thank you.
But something we were talking about when we were brainstorming this episode, a slide in the talk that I give around this topic is when I was trying to search for answers of like, the talk that I give, I don't tell the full story. I talk about how like I lost my creative spark and I was up at 2 a.m. and I was Googling like, why does art matter? And that is true.
Mm-hmm.
I was Googling, why does art matter?
I remember.
And I was looking YouTube videos, Reddit, like trying to find like reasons. You can find historical reasons. You can find motivational speakers. So many people saying why art matters to them. And I simultaneously was trying to look up like answers to my question of should I stay in my relationship? Trying to find other people talking about like, I left my long-term relationship in my 30s and I was fine, and just looking for bits of myself in other people's stories to like tell me it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Because uncertainty is like so real.
Mm-hmm.
And one slide that I have in my talk though is that the answers to your big questions, whether personal or creative, are not in your phone.
Yeah.
Like they are actually out there for you to find.
Oh man.
You can save 100,000 Instagram posts from therapists, from relationship coaches. You could watch every single YouTube video. You could scour every subreddit based on whatever niche topic you're trying to find, but you have to go find it yourself.
Yeah, you have to make a decision and then, evaluate again. It's constant iteration. Like life, I feel like, is constant iteration, reflection. Did this decision feel good, whether it was big or small? Yeah. When you told me that earlier, I was like, whoa, that's really good. Because I am a person who I seek answers and whatever I'm going through or saving.
It's part of the process.
Yeah.
But I have to remind myself of that okay, it's part of the process. Yes, we all have our insights. My folder is called Noodle.
I love that.
Of ooh, that's profound.
Yeah.
I save it to a folder on Instagram. I never fucking read it again.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I go back through my saved ones a lot.
Well,
yeah. I'm on my phone way more than you, though. And that's...
I download it for, it hits me and then it passes. And I think to sum up this episode, what we're trying to say is, that is part of the process. The, thinking about it, the stewing on it, the, having the gut feeling, the, trying to shove it down.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there's a practical element of making these big decisions. Everyone comes to these things in their own time. But one thing that is absolutely within our control, especially as creative people, is you should not be silencing the little creative whispers of hey, I want to try this medium, or I would like to explore making art in this style.
Mm-hmm.
Indulging that little voice is the first step to living your most aligned life and being your happiest, best, most authentic self.
Yeah.
It'll lead you down the right path.
Your big, juicy life, as I like to say. Yeah. Yeah, it will. And I think that is my messaging with Prioritize Play. Follow that. When you said the little, I was like, the gremlin inside of you. Follow your little creativity gremlin, cousin to the efficiency demon, and try stuff. It's a pull inside of you. And
people will call it whatever, gut feeling, knowing, whispers,
creativity gremlin.
Yeah, if you're listening to this podcast, you know what it is. You felt it and you've told it to shut up before.
Yeah.
And we're trying to tell you to not tell it to shut up.
Yeah.
Because
let it get a little louder. And it might take a long time before you listen, but give it a platform to speak and you can decide when to take its advice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Trust your gut.
Yeah.
Your gut knows.
Have you seen that? One of my favorite memes is, this is gross.
I know which one you're gonna say. And I want you to say it. You mean this gut?
The one that shit my pants?
Yeah. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. And listen, that gut does shit its pants sometimes, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's because you buy new pants.
Because you didn't listen to it and you had the dairy. You had the ice cream. Yeah. Should have listened to it. Okay. Well, this was a fun episode. I feel like I got real side questy and fired up. But hey, support us on Patreon if you can do that. If not, throw us a Like, subscribe, rating, review, send this episode
to a friend who
Thank
might
you.
need to hear it.
Go ahead and finish off.
Yeah, great. You can also follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Chaotic Creatives Pod.
Yep.
And we will see you in the final episode of this season.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Thank you so much for joining us. See you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.